On the brink of total collapse, the Black Dragon Vritra wipes out 90% of the human base's defense with a single strike, leaving nothing but despair in its wake. Just when all hope seems lost, our boy Agito finally arrives on the scene. Surveying the devastation, his calm promise to handle the rest is the only light left for humanity. This nightmare began when dimensional gates opened, unleashing dragons upon the world. Despite a desperate counteroffensive, the cost of holding back the demonic army has been staggering. The Alliance managed to take down 5 of the 6 dragons, but the remaining Vritra is a different beast entirely, leaving Amasaki and the general at their absolute limits. Seeing his comrades fallen and bleeding, our guy realizes they've exhausted every drop of mana they had. Now, the burden of facing this world-ending dragon rests solely on him. In a cruel twist of fate, the strongest sword saint possesses 0 mana. Yet, he compensates with a technique that forces the world's natural energy into his blade. Staring down the dragon's devastating abyssal rain, our boy doesn't flinch. He readies his 8th sword style, pushing the final confrontation into its most intense phase. With a thunderous roar, our guy leaps high into the sky. His thunder god strike descends like a bolt of judgment, aiming straight for the black dragon's heart. Our boy leaps into the air, his blade erupting in a surge of blue lightning. Seeing the dragon actually take damage, his comrades are stunned. No one expected a manaless student to tear through a dragon's defense. The once arrogant dragon is snapped back to reality by the blow, its icy gaze locking onto our guy. It realizes this human is no mere insect, but a formidable threat unlike any it has faced before. Looking at the fallen comrades across the scarred battlefield, our boy's expression darkens. He knows that unless he ends this now, every single one of them will perish under the dragon's wrath. Facing the dragon's furious counterattack, our boy remains a steady shadow amidst the flames. Despite the overwhelming onslaught, he stays unnervingly calm, searching for a single opening in the chaos. The moment the dragon opens its maw again, our boy has already charged right into its face. The elite students watching from afar can barely breathe, witnessing a battle that transcends human limits. Vritra sneers, seeing humans as nothing more than short-lived dust. Yet, as our boy stands firm among the ruins, wreathed in flames, and refusing to back down, the dragon's arrogance begins to crack. The air warps under intense pressure as the dragon charges its destruction breath. Our boy knows if he dodges, his friends behind him are finished. There's no turning back now. Sorry, I'll leave the rest to you. Our boy gives his comrades a final, tragic smile before turning away. As the devastating beam erupts, he charges straight into the heart of the light. At the cost of his very lifespan, the secret technique 8 Turns of Dawn ignites. This is his ultimate strike, a gamble for everything. Whether this blade can end a century of destiny, we'll find out next time. To protect his comrades, our boy unleashes his life-shortening ultimate technique, 8 Turns of Dawn. Amidst the blinding light, he pushes through the dragon's breath to shatter its core. The black dragon finally collapses, but before the cheers can start, our boy falls. His body is broken from the strain, leaving his comrades in a state of sheer panic. As our boy's consciousness fades, his allies desperately attempt healing magic. To their horror, the wounds won't close, a direct consequence of the forbidden power he just used. Suddenly, the dying dragon mocks them. It reveals that the 6 dragons were merely sacrifices to awaken the divine dragon Ragna. In 100 years, true destruction will return. Hearing this, our boy is struck by a sense of futility. Their hard-won victory was part of the enemy's plan all along, a realization more painful than his physical wounds. As his life fades in Erika's arms, our boy makes a silent plea. He begs for just one more chance to change the future, refusing to let humanity's story end in such despair. Carrying his regrets and fears for the future, his consciousness slips into darkness. But the 100-year war isn't over. It's merely preparing for a new, unexpected chapter. Amidst a swirl of mystical blue rings and beams of light, a powerful soul drifts through time. Guided by this radiant glow, the legendary sword saint begins his journey across 100 years. As the heart monitor beeps steadily, our boy finally opens his eyes on a modern hospital bed. Though his body is weak, his new identity as Agito has officially awakened in this era. Waking up to an unfamiliar ceiling and strange high-tech devices, our guy is understandably confused. Looking around at the medical gear, he wonders if he's ended up in some kind of military facility. Suddenly, a documentary on the screen leaves him speechless. It's been 100 years since the end of the 6 Dragons War. What felt like a short nap turned out to be a century of history. Breaking news disrupts the quiet as gates activate and magical quakes shake the entire country. Panic spreads among the citizens. All signs point to the terrifying resurrection of the 6 dragons. Watching the chaos on the news, our boy's expression turns deadly serious. This second life is a miraculous chance, and he vows that the divine dragon's awakening will be stopped by his hand. The legendary sword saint is now a freshman at a magic academy. He looks at his student ID. Though labeled a failure by modern standards, his soul is ready to shake the world once again. Looking at the old family photo, our boy realizes his new identity is just an ordinary student living alone. Despite the humble start, the familiar name makes him feel like destiny is at work. Even in this weak body, the sword skills etched into his soul remain perfect. With a casual flick, he slices a can clean in half. It's time for his new legend to begin. Walking through the modern city, our boy sees a press conference on a giant screen. The guild is promising to deploy S-rank hunters to handle the rising monster threats, keeping the public calm. While the guild seems reliable, our boy decides to avoid them for now. Sensing an underlying tension beneath the peace, he chooses to hide his identity and observe this new era as a student. He arrives at Kagura Magic Academy, the cradle for future guild members. Reincarnating as a student here is a stroke of luck, offering the perfect chance to gather intel and find strong allies. To face the 6 dragons, he knows he'll need powerful allies. But seeing a classmate struggle to cast a simple fireball and still get praised, our boy is seriously underwhelmed by the magic standards of this age. Is this what passes for B rank now? Watching the teacher celebrate such mediocre magic, our boy realizes that finding true experts in this weakened era is going to be a long journey. Watching the flashy but weak modern magic, our boy is genuinely unimpressed. To him, this level is just pitiful as he heads to classroom 2B, feeling completely let down by the current era. As soon as he opens the door, he's greeted by mockery. The red-haired bully, Hiba, and his lackeys are waiting for him, taunting our boy about his sword saint title in a tense standoff. Despite the bully's arrogant laughter, our boy stays cool. He figures he's being targeted just because of his name, but his calm expression shows he doesn't think much of these self-proclaimed elites. Our boy drops a bombshell by casually asking, "Who are you guys again?" This completely enrages Hiba, an A-rank candidate and used to being ignored, making him look absolutely murderous. Losing his temper, Hiba delivers a heavy kick, sending our boy to the floor. The bullies double down on their insults, telling the F-rank trash he's better off crawling around like a worm. Other students watch in pity, but are too scared to intervene. The bullies keep mocking him, calling his swordsmanship outdated, never realizing the legendary hero himself is standing right there. Our boy finally realizes the original owner was hospitalized because of these bullies. Remaining calm, he brushes them off, saying he's busy and advising them to actually practice their skills for once. Infuriated by our boy's calm demeanor, Hiba completely loses his cool. Surrounded by raging flames, he screams in a frenzy, threatening to show Agito what true death looks like. As the onlookers gasp in terror, Hiba unleashes his magic. A massive fire bomb erupts, engulfing our boy in a devastating sea of flames that seems impossible to survive. Just when everyone thought it was over, a cold flash cuts through the blaze. Our boy uses his legendary sword technique to disperse the magic, leaving the entire class stunned by his power. Hiba stares at the dispersing flames in pure disbelief. He can't wrap his head around how an F-rank loser could possibly shatter his high-level A-rank magic so easily. As Hiba prepares for another desperate strike, a golden figure steps in his way. It's Erika Amasaki, the elite ace who has just returned from her trip overseas. Erika effortlessly blocks the magic and gives Hiba a stern warning. She makes it clear that she won't tolerate him bullying classmates indoors anymore, threatening to take action herself. Faced with the hero's descendant, Hiba has no choice but to retreat. Once the tension fades, students flock to Erika, warmly welcoming the campus idol back to school. Watching Erika, our boy reflects on the past. Since she is the descendant of his old comrade Yuka, he wonders if he might finally be able to share the secret of his reincarnation with her. Meanwhile, in a quiet corner of the campus, Hiba seethes with rage over his humiliation. Consumed by hatred, he vows to make both Agito and Erika pay for what happened. From the shadows, a mysterious figure watches the academy. Though he came for the hero's bloodline, our boy has caught his eye, and he chillingly marks Agito as his next prey. This man, Odium, is plotting on behalf of his master, Rubel. With a sinister laugh, he plans to wipe everyone out, completely unaware that Agito is no ordinary student. Meanwhile, Hiba is fuming after his recent defeat. Feeling humiliated by our boy and Erika, he's consumed by a blind rage, desperately seeking a way to get his revenge. Ignoring his friends, Hiba's hatred has reached a breaking point. He's ready to kill anyone who looks down on him, and a dark influence is about to exploit that weakness. Odium suddenly appears, praising Hiba's twisted mindset. While the others are paralyzed with fear, this demon offers a terrifying proposal, demanding Hiba's cooperation. Before Hiba can react, dark energy consumes him. His screams echo as his eyes transform into demonic slits, and he fully surrenders his humanity to become a mindless puppet. With Hiba's companions left lifeless, Odium gloats over his new pawn. He stands amidst the flames, satisfied that everything is finally in place for his next deadly move. Back at the academy, a field exam begins. While the other students are nervous, our boy looks completely bored. These monsters and modern spells are far too weak for him. Watching her classmates' shocked expressions, Erika brings up the 4 great heroes who once fought alongside the Sword Saint, hinting that commoners are no match for such a lineage. Our boy listens quietly as Erika begins to sense something is off. She suddenly realizes that the overwhelming power he displayed this morning wasn't magic at all. Erika's intuition kicks in. She figures out that such god-tier swordsmanship could only belong to the legendary Sword Saint who once fought beside her ancestor. As the field exam begins, a massive purple monster overpowers the students. In the nick of time, our boy draws his blade and ends it with one effortless strike. After saving his peers, our boy sighs at the low level of modern students. But as he moves deeper into the ruins, he's greeted by a gruesome pile of slaughtered monsters. At the end of the carnage, our boy finds Hiba drenched in blood. He seems possessed by a dark power, descending into madness and roaring with a murderous intent. Facing a crazed Hiba wreathed in dark flames, our boy stays calm but focused. He can tell at a glance that the guy's movements and body are no longer human. The battle has spiraled into madness, as the possessed Hiba loses all touch with reality. Even when pierced by a blade, he seems incapable of feeling pain, crying out for help in a way that chills everyone to the bone. Surveying the fallen comrades and the surrounding carnage, our boy's gaze turns ice cold. Realizing this tragedy was orchestrated, he steps forward with a calm resolve, simply stating, "Leave it to me." After a swift exchange, our boy ruthlessly subdues the berserk Hiba. Pinning him down with a blade to his throat, he shouts into the shadows, demanding the hidden mastermind reveal themselves. Accompanied by a sinister laugh, a hooded figure with glowing purple eyes emerges from the mist. Calling himself Odium, an aide to the flame dragon, he dismisses the carnage as nothing more than a ruined toy. Facing Odium's massive magical bombardment, our boy doesn't even flinch. In an explosion that seems to tear space itself, he uses his blade to slice through the magic, showcasing power far beyond modern understanding. Seeing our boy emerge unscathed, the arrogant villain's confidence finally cracks. Though the shadow of the dragon's revival looms, our boy's sword sends a clear message: whatever you're planning, I'll cut it down. Even high-level magic from centuries ago proves useless against absolute swordsmanship. Odium stands stunned, unable to comprehend how a mere student sliced through untouchable power. Our boy's legend is just beginning. Staring at the ruins, the enemy is completely stunned that his magic was nullified. Our boy doesn't blink, coldly declaring that he's here to cut down every last bit of the dragon's revival plan. Instead of backing down, the villain smirks and unleashes a massive magic circle. But our boy is faster, clashing head-on with him in a blur of steel and purple energy. Sparks fly as their blades lock. Mid-battle, our boy demands to know why they hurt innocent humans. To his disgust, the maniac simply grins, claiming it's all just for fun. The fight rages on as the villain reminisces about the massacre from a century ago. He treats the memory of terrified, fleeing people like a twisted source of ultimate satisfaction. The villain relishes the memories of blood and tears, speaking of past atrocities with a sickening pride. Seeing this pure malice, our boy's calm demeanor begins to sharpen into cold fury. The enemy keeps ranting about the divine dragon's awakening, eager for another feast of slaughter. Standing amidst the rubble with twin blades, our boy radiates a killing intent that chills the air. "Stop talking. You're making me sick." Our boy loses all patience, striking with such speed that the villain is sent crashing down, his twisted laughter finally silenced in the dirt. Facing the villain's ruthless taunts, the student collapses in terror. The purple-haired man looks down with pure contempt, treating humans as nothing more than prey. Suddenly, a massive meteor shower is unleashed. Flaming boulders rain down from the sky, turning the entire battlefield into a chaotic, scorching hellscape. In this critical moment, our boy calmly draws his blade. Using the Yatsurugi-style gust slash, he cleaves through the falling inferno with a single, decisive strike. Leaping into the air, he unleashes a devastating burst of energy. The sheer overwhelming power of the strike leaves the once arrogant enemies completely frozen in shock. Covered in blood, the enemy leader stares at the familiar technique. A look of mad realization crosses his face as he recognizes our boy as the legendary Sword Saint. Faced with questions about his reincarnation, our boy remains cold and silent. He sees no need to explain anything to a dead man, driving the villain into a manic laughter. As the divine dragon's awakening nears, the villain claims to have gained a terrifying new power. His eyes shift as ominous purple energy begins to warp the air around him. With an earth-shattering roar, the enemy transforms into a monstrous beast. Despite the creature's size, our boy is already poised to end this ancient conflict once and for all. Suddenly, a massive purple claw slams down as the monster roars in fury. It boasts about its Ragna's protection, hoping to strike absolute despair into our boy's heart. Facing such pressure, our boy doesn't even flinch. Instead, he sports a calm, almost amused smile, as if this level of power is barely worth his attention. Infuriated by the indifference, the monster goes berserk. Its roar, laced with immense magical energy, shatters the surrounding cliffs and sends tremors throughout the entire dungeon. Erica and the other students are paralyzed with fear as the ground shakes. Watching the falling debris, Erica realizes that an incredibly powerful monster has emerged from the depths. Erica rushes toward the source of the shock, only to be stunned by what she finds. Instead of a desperate struggle, she sees our boy standing calmly over the defeated beast. Agito? Erica can't believe her eyes. Meanwhile, our boy gives the monster a cold glance, deciding to end this farce once and for all before his secrets are out. The monster lunges for a final desperate attack, but against a master swordsman, it's futile. With a flash of steel, its screams of agony echo through the cavern. Looking down at the fading remains, our boy looks genuinely disappointed. He expected at least a decent warm-up, but the enemy was far weaker than he had hoped. Just when everyone thought it was over, the purple monster lets out a terrifying roar, as its wounds instantly regenerate, leaving our boy's companions paralyzed with shock. The monster boasts that it has Ragna's protection, mocking our boy's sword techniques as useless. Little does it know, its overconfidence is about to be its downfall. The monster's power is truly off the charts, easily reaching S-rank territory. Erica watches in horror, as the sheer pressure from its energy sends debris flying everywhere. Even as purple energy beams rain down around him, our boy remains incredibly calm. His unwavering composure in the face of divine protection is clearly starting to irritate the monster. Towering over our boy, the monster mocks him as a relic of the past. Meanwhile, the injured student lies nearby, overwhelmed by the seemingly impossible gap in power. You can't save anyone, the monster screams, launching a devastating charge. Its massive frame lunges at our boy with enough force to potentially crush everything in its path. In a flash, our boy vanishes and reappears with a lethal strike. Before anyone can even blink, the once arrogant monster is sent reeling as blood sprays across the battlefield. The monster stares in disbelief as its invincible protection is sliced apart. Our boy stays silent, carrying the weight of a victory his fallen comrades from a century ago never got to see. Standing amidst the rubble, our boy remembers the friends who sacrificed themselves in the ancient war. He vows that he won't let their hard-won peace be shattered again. Ignoring the enemy's desperate screams about saving the world, our boy silences the chatter with his blades, even planting a foot firmly on the villain's head. The monster is in total denial, unable to comprehend how it's being crushed by a supposed failure who was meant to be long gone. With a calm, almost bored gaze, our boy unleashes his piercing moon technique, a strike so precise it tears right through the enemy's heart. With one final agonized cry, the monster collapses into a pool of its own blood, desperately calling out to its master as it fades away. As the dust settles, our boy calmly sheathes his sword. Erica is left in absolute shock, demanding to know what kind of monster he actually is. Meanwhile, Rina is reporting from a remote location, confirming the grim prophecy regarding the revival of the six dragons is starting to unfold. As the higher-ups assess the growing crisis, our boy's rank of profile catches their eye. His days of flying under the radar are officially over. News of our boy defeating Odium single-handedly reaches the elite organization, leaving Toma deep in thought, while Odoriku is completely blindsided by the report. Finding it impossible to believe someone could solo a high-level monster without magic, Rika decides to investigate personally, even considering inviting our boy to join them if he's the real deal. While the higher-ups watch from the shadows, Rika wipes out the remaining monsters with a massive volt quake, putting his oppressive S-rank power on full display. True to his flamboyant nature, he vows to judge our boy's strength for himself, making the upcoming situation at the academy even more unpredictable. Back at the training grounds, our boy calmly reveals the truth about the 6 dragons' return to Erika, leaving her completely stunned by the weight of the revelation. It sounds like a myth, but remembering our boy's S-rank level swordsmanship, Erika realizes that the young man standing before her truly possesses the power to rewrite history. Ultimately, she decides to risk everything and trust him, asking our boy to lend his strength. With their pact sealed, the real counterattack is finally about to begin. Seeing Erika's unwavering determination, our boy can't help but recall his comrade from a century ago. Sensing her magic, he remarks on how truly she has inherited that legendary talent. As they talk, our boy casually mentions the elite organization Seraphim. Hearing the name of her ancestors' group, Erika is stunned that he knows such deep secrets. Erika explains the Seraphim ranking system and her past as a candidate. To her, those at the top are unique individuals entrusted with a very specific mission. Our boy quietly assesses the strength of this era. Though modern magic has declined, he's relieved to see that the will of the Sword Saint and the heroes still protects the peace. Despite his sentiment, our boy can't help but joke that many top-tier experts have personality issues. Still, the thought of fighting alongside such people is somewhat reassuring. Suddenly, the peace is shattered as a terrifying bolt of lightning strikes. The blow is incredibly fast, causing Erika to scream in warning as danger closes in on them. Amidst the surging energy, an unexpected guest appears. Faced with such a flashy entrance, our boy remains remarkably calm, as if he expected this visitor all along. Just as the tension peaks, a cocky figure crashes the party. Before our boy can react, Erika recognizes him, Oto Riku, an S-rank elite from Seraphim and one of the world's most powerful lightning magic users. Facing this elite hunter, our boy remains cool as ever. But Riku isn't impressed, bragging about his past victories over dragon lieutenants while openly mocking the idea of a mere student standing against him. To test our boy's true potential, Riku unleashes Blast Nova, a massive spell usually reserved for dragons. Everyone is horrified. Firing a spell of this magnitude at a person is more of an execution than a test. Riku lays down the terms. Survive this blow, and he'll recruit our boy into the Seraphim. Facing this life-or-death gamble, our boy just smiles calmly, signaling for the elite hunter to give it his best shot. The terrifying energy pours down, threatening to erase everything. But at the critical moment, our boy gets serious. He unleashes his secret sword technique, a strike so sharp it literally cleaves through the dragon-slaying magic. As the smoke clears, our boy stands completely unfazed, leaving the arrogant Riku speechless. Our guy reflects that magicians of this caliber were rare even 100 years ago. Finally, things are getting interesting. Riku is completely blown away by the incredible talent he just witnessed. He's so hyped that he can't help but shout about what an exceptional talent our boy truly is. The tense battlefield atmosphere flips in an instant as a straightforward request for friendship is made, catching everyone off guard. Riku laughs and slings an arm around our boy's shoulder. He admits our guy isn't half bad, but his grin shows he's truly acknowledged his strength. Getting serious for a moment, Riku points out a terrifying truth. If our boy had actually gone all out, this whole area would have been reduced to a wasteland by now. Realizing our boy's potential is off the charts, Riku drops the act and formally invites him to join the elite organization known as the Seraphim. Our guy doesn't mind the idea of cooperating, but when he asks if Erika can join them, the answer is a swift and firm no. It turns out Seraphim has already analyzed Erika's operational records, concluding that her current compatibility is nowhere near their required level. Rina calmly adds that Erika simply isn't at the Seraphim's level yet, a harsh reality that Riku seems to understand better than anyone else. As they discuss the recruitment, flashes of brutal combat memories surface, hinting that a far more monstrous threat is still lurking in the shadows. Oto Riku, the brash S-rank elite, clearly has strong doubts and even scorn regarding Erika's potential to join Seraphim. However, our boy calmly affirms it, asserting that Amasaki possesses a hidden talent that even she herself hasn't realized yet. He explains that her power is absolutely necessary for the battles to come. This statement not only stuns Riku, but also leaves Erika herself in disbelief. Riku scoffs at this, declaring he can do anything she can. but the reply he gets is a firm and definitive rejection. Our boy emphasizes further that in one particular field, Amasaki's talent could potentially surpass even Riku's. He reveals the grim reality. Thousands of magicians die on missions every year. Even after the Sword Saint and the 4 heroes repelled the dragons a century ago, the casualties never ceased. It was precisely to prevent the deaths of the weak that the S-rank organization, Seraphim, was established. Riku questions why he would recommend Amasaki if he understands the weight of this responsibility and sacrifice. Our boy answers with calm certainty. He declares that Amasaki's talent indeed reaches S-rank, and he firmly believes she will shine within Seraphim. His words once again leave Amasaki herself flustered. At this, the other elite present, the short-haired woman Tomarina, also speaks up. She, too, questions this, reasoning that such potential should have manifested some signs by now. As someone who knew Amasaki from way back, her skepticism is particularly weighty. The tension in the air has become palpable. Seraphim member Tomarina seemed doubtful of Erika's abilities, suggesting they show her her place. However, Oto Riku immediately rejected such a troublesome proposal. Oto Riku quickly changed his mind, deciding on a quicker approach. He and Rina would directly challenge our boy and Erika. Hearing this sudden proposal, Rina was somewhat shocked. Rina felt somewhat underestimated, but soon, her eyes grew resolute, as if she was already prepared for battle. It turned out Riku's true target was our boy. He arrogantly declared he wanted to fight Agito in any form, to which our boy calmly replied, "No problem." Seeing Riku directly challenge our boy, Erika was a bit surprised. She looked at our boy, asking resolutely, "Do you trust me, and will you fight alongside me?" Erika emotionally declared that even the Sword Saint Agito trusted her this much. She pleaded to be allowed to fight, then struck a combat pose before our boy, vowing to show her true strength in real combat. Facing the upcoming duel, our boy smiled confidently, standing alongside Erika, and boldly declared, "Amasaki and I will beat you S-ranks." Subsequently, at the Magicians Guild headquarters, the referee officially announced the duel's participants: F-rank Agito and A-rank Amasaki Erika against S-rank Oto Riku and Tomarina. A cross-rank battle was about to begin. Inside a high-tech monitoring room, the association's top brass are closely watching this special duel. The screens display the elite Seraphim members, but their true focus is on the Amasaki heir and our mysterious boy. Staring at the footage of our boy's past battles, Elder Jinguji falls into deep thought. The sheer anomaly of Agito's combat prowess forces him to reconsider just how many secrets this underachiever is hiding. Back at the arena, the defensive barrier is in its final deployment. While Erika is visibly tense and breaking into a cold sweat, our boy looks completely relaxed, as if this were a casual stroll rather than a high-stakes duel. Erika remarks on how modern magic is now automated, making her ancestors' legendary defensive spells obsolete. However, our boy knows better. In the face of true despair, only awakened human strength can be the ultimate shield. Before they can talk further, Oto Riku approaches with an arrogant smirk. This S-class elite is itching for a fight, his provocative gaze making it clear he doesn't think much of our boy and Erika's partnership. As the countdown hits 0, the battle officially erupts. All three leap into action simultaneously, filling the once quiet arena with a sudden, suffocating bloodlust as the deathly game begins in earnest. Oto Riku goes all out from the start, unleashing a lightning spell called Judgment that coats the entire field. As violent purple energy rains down like blades, Erika is nearly paralyzed by the sheer pressure. Amidst the raging lightning, Oto Riku grins, confident he's already won. Yet, our boy's expression remains unmoved. He weaves through the storm of attacks, calmly searching for that one fatal opening. Facing the elite's full power strike, our boy finally drops into a low stance, his hand gripping the hilt. As blue light gathers around him, the legend of the underachiever's counterattack is just beginning to show its edge. The battle heats up as Riku lunges with a wild laugh, his weapons crackling with lightning. But Tomarina intervenes with a magic circle. Much to Riku's annoyance, he hates it when people steal his prey. Amidst the chaos, our boy remains unfazed, leaning on his blade and coolly acknowledging the elite's power. In reality, the collision is so intense it's tearing the ground apart, sending shockwaves everywhere. In the control room, the higher-ups are losing it as alarms blare. The old man frantically orders the barrier raised to level 6, terrified that even their cutting-edge tech might crumble under the pressure. While the big shots wonder where this monster came from, our boy is busy taunting Rina. With a smug grin, he warns her that if she keeps her eyes only on him, her partner is going to be in deep trouble. Right on cue, the battlefield shifts. Riku unleashes his ultimate Blast Nova, a terrifying storm of lightning aimed straight at Erika. She's sweating under the pressure, but her eyes are sharper than ever. Just when everyone thinks she's done for, Erika's lineage awakens. A golden sigil blooms as she manifests the legendary Sacred Shield, a feat so rare it leaves the seasoned veterans in absolute shock. Riku's devastating strike hits the shield and grinds to a complete halt. The S-Class elite is left speechless. Who would have thought this low-rank girl could tank his full power without a scratch? Seeing Erika finally hold her own, our boy's expression turns sharp. Now that the defense is secured, he decides it's time for them to take over and start the real counterattack.